Well, Happy New Year, and welcome back to the Big Sky Investor Show. I am your host, in case this is the first time you're tuning in. I'm Luke Anderson, and I'm in Billings, Montana. I hope you all had a great Christmas and New Year's. I know that I did. It was very eventful. We had our fourth boy, and I spent the holidays and spent some time learning to be a family of six. So it was a lot of fun, and had a lot of good family time. And I hope you did as well. So I wanted to kick this off again. I was thinking of what to talk about. You know, you've got all this New Year's resolution type thing, and I'm not big into the New Year's resolutions myself. Now I will goal set. I do set goals, and I will write them down and I will plan them out. But to me, New Year's resolutions are a little flimsy. So anyway, what I wanted to talk about though is, I guess, give a little update on what I've been doing, because I haven't had an episode in a few weeks. To kind of take a break with new addition to the family and holidays and things like that. Thought I'd put my focus there for a few weeks. So, but what I've been doing is setting up a personal assistant. Because up to this point, I've been doing everything solo, and I want to be able to scale my business operations. And so I reached out and ended up finding someone who is going to be my personal assistant. We're going to try it out. We're experimenting. I was very upfront and clear in how it's going to, that it's going to be an experiment essentially, because this person is going to be paid 100% based upon performance. So basically commission. I'm not going to pay him a salary or pay him hourly. So anyway, so that's going to be interesting. It's about a week and a half technically, but with the holidays, I mean, really, this person just started. So it'll be fun to see how the position evolves, and what we can do to scale the business operational side of things. So anyway, so one thing I think the thing I wanted to talk about to kick off the year was to not be a lone wolf. There's a lot of people out there that are throwing around entrepreneur, the word entrepreneur, and to be an entrepreneur, you have to hustle and you have to grind and you have to hustle and you have to grind and rise and grind and all that. And to be completely honest with you, in my personal opinion, I think that's complete horseshit. I've done the whole rise and grind, hustle and grind, that whole thing. I've done that in a career and then in another business venture, and literally it just about killed me both times. Anyway, that's probably maybe a story for another time. But the point is that you cannot maintain the hustle and grind lifestyle long term. That's not possible. I see guys, I've got friends even that'll be like, oh yeah, I've been grinding for 5 years, and I'm like, great, hopefully you're around for 6. Like, good luck. Now, do you need to hustle and grind for short periods of time? Yeah, sure, there's seasons where you have to do that, but those seasons are not 5 years in my opinion. Now, there are exceptions to the rules. I'm sure, but I don't know of anybody who has did the hustle and grind thing for years consistently without a break, and didn't have major repercussions from doing that, whether that be physical health, relational, both, or even foundational. They did the hustle and grind thing and they built their business, but their business revolved around them. So when they got sick, or they decided to step back, or they got burnt out, or they died, or whatever, the businesses crumble. And that's not a sustainable, I mean, that's really not a business. That's just somebody that's created a very high performing job for themselves. To create a business, you have to create something that will last when you're not there, that will operate when you're sick, will operate when you're dead, will operate when you're on vacation. Even if that vacation is months. Not, oh, I took a 3-day vacation, over the weekend. No. Like, I'm going to Hawaii for 2 months. Call me if you need me. I'll be monitoring my email. That, then you've got a business. Or even going, hey, I'm going to be gone. Like, just if you need me, call me. That's a business. But if you can't do that, then really you've created a high performing job for yourself. So I've, like I said, I've done the whole hustle and grind thing. I've done it in 2 major careers in my life, and did very well doing that. Did well both times, and saw success. But my printer is talking to me. I'll have to make a future note for myself to turn that off before I record something. Anyway, but what I was saying is that both times I've seen success with doing the hustle and grind thing. But the thing is that it physically about killed me. I physically had issues, and not to mention how it strained my marriage and other relationships and things like that. But the biggest thing is that I couldn't step away from my business. I couldn't step away from my job. I was stuck. I remember doing, be in these careers and not being able to go hunting or fishing or camping or whatever, because if I stepped away for too long, I knew everything would crumble. I would even get anxiety, like when I go to like managers meetings for like 5 days. So like I'm still working, just not in the branch. Like, in the branch I was operating, like it was like, oh, things are gonna crumble. Like, and I'm even though I'm like doing what I'm supposed to be doing and I'm working, like I should be there with my team. So when you're hustling and grinding, I personally think it breeds that I have to be there for it to work mentality. That's my opinion. You can agree or disagree. That's just been my experience. That's what I've seen, and by and large. So, how are you going to make 2019 different? How are you going to do that differently? For me, to get out of that hustling, make sure I don't get into that, I should say, because I've been out of that mindset for a while. But how do I make sure I don't go back to that hustle and grind mindset? Because that is natural for me. Because I've done it. Whenever I've started something big, I dive right in and I want to just do everything myself, and I want to hustle and grind and hustle and grind. And 18 months later, it's like, oh, oops. Well, that didn't work. That wasn't good. Here's another hospital visit or whatever. Yikes. So what are you going to do different? For me, to make sure I don't get into that, because 2019 is going to be a huge year for my ventures and for my family. The work that we did in 2018 has really set us up to have a massive year of growth this year. And I'm in a lot of ways, in a lot of areas, and I'm very excited for that. But I know I can't do it alone. So that's why I got an assistant. And I'm like, well, got to start with somebody, got to start somewhere. And I'm feeling very confident about this. But it is going to be an experiment. I've had assistants before, I've had employees before, but I've never had one that is on 100% commission. So that'll be kind of interesting. And one that works strictly remote, or works basically 100% remote. So that'll be very interesting. But that's what I'm doing to get things kicked off for the year, to make sure I don't fall into that trap of hustle and grind and get stuck in that for an entire year and burn myself out and cause some sort of rift in my relationships, or some uh, regression in health, or probably more importantly, or build something in my businesses that is going to take 2 to 3 to 4 times more work to rebuild, because I'll have built it the wrong way this year. So I don't want to do that. I don't want to build something that is reliant on me. That's not my goal. So what is your thing? What is your thing that you need to do this year? Is it to hire an assistant to take some of the workload off of you? Is it to learn to time block? That's a big one. And if you don't know what that is, I'll do an episode. I think I'll do an episode on that, because that's something that is newer to me that I've been learning over the last few months and putting into practice more and more, to make sure that I'm not, getting stuck in working 8, 9, 10 hours a day when I could get everything done in 4 or 3 or 5 or whatever. So maybe it's time blocking, setting aside specific chunks of time for specific tasks and focusing in on those things, instead of the scattered, like, well, I've got to send these emails, and I've got to talk to this seller, and I've got to have this meeting, and I've got to post this on social media, and I've got to do that. No, at 9 a.m. from 9 to 9:45, I am doing emails on this specific account, and I'm reading and responding. From 9:45 to 10:15, I am making these phone calls, whatever it may be. That's essentially what time blocking is, and doing nothing else during those times. Or it could be bigger chunks, like from like a guy I know, he's been writing some books, and he'll time block, like, from my understanding, he'll time block like 4 hours or 5 hours, like, for this time I'm writing, like, and you can't get a hold of him. So whatever it may be. So is it that? Is it taking, removing certain negative people from your life? Is it developing a new system? Is it getting a new program? I don't know. What is it? You tell me. What do you need? That's a question that I had to ask myself, and that was something that I'm glad I did, because I'm feeling very good about starting this year and having somebody to help me, because I can do everything on my own, but I'm sure glad I'm not. So that's my thought for starting 2019. What do you need to get out of the hustle and grind mentality? Because that does not work long term. Sure, it might work for a few weeks or maybe even a few months, but it is not a long-term strategy. And you need to be looking, in my opinion, you need to be looking bigger picture and looking at, how do I make this business, how do I make my systems in a way that don't require me to be there? How do I duplicate myself so that I don't actually have to be there? So that's my thought. That's what I've got. I'm very excited for this year. I'm excited for you this year. And it'll be a fun journey to do this together. So send me a comment. Send me your thoughts on what you think you need this year, and if there's anything I can do to help, let me know. You can find me on social media at Luke John Anderson. John is Jon, not John. So makes me a little unique. I was joking with my sister, and I was like, she's really the social media wizard in our business. And I go, so, how should am I branding myself okay? I'm starting to brand myself a little bit on social media, a little bit to help people find me with the podcast and stuff like that. And I go, so is it okay that I have everything Luke John Anderson? She goes, yeah, it's totally okay, because John is spelled Jon, but if your middle name was John, you'd be screwed, because you would have like a very generic name. I'm like, well, the name Luke is like almost almost a little bit unique. She's like, yeah, okay, whatever. Anyway, so you can find me at Luke John Anderson, no H in John. But I'd love to help. That's the whole reason of starting this, is just to provide value and to document my journey. I appreciate you sticking with me through these first few episodes. It's been a fun experiment and experience, and feeling like I'm starting to kind of find my voice and find what it is I want to talk about specifically, how I want to talk about it, how I want to approach things, and just what's natural for me. So I appreciate you hanging in there on these first few episodes. And I'm just excited for the upcoming episodes when I can get a little bit more refined and a little bit more focused on what, on the direction of the show and everything. So thank you for listening, and we will talk to you soon.